Hi friends, welcome to my channel. It's Heather Rhenee. If you are new here, welcome. This is a safe space where we are trying to create dialogue for those that are experiencing infertility, going through IVF, who have been through the NICU journey, and everything in between and all around. If you are returning, what's up? That was probably a little lame, but whatever. What's up, y'all? Thank you for coming back. It is such a pleasure to continue to do these things, continue these videos. It's a lot of work, but it's so worth it. I love it so much. Anyway, let's get into it. What are we talking about today? I'm going to be teaching people how to shut up. Shut up and listen. Or if you don't know how to shut up, if you're one of those people who you have to say something, I'm going to teach you the right things to say when it comes to talking to someone who's trying to express their journey, their struggles with infertility. And honestly, the things that you're going to see here today can be used when anyone's struggling with any type of anything, not just infertility. Also, pretty sure you just heard my son yell in the background. If you didn't, you will hear him before the end of this video. Disclaimer, he's 1 year old. He's gonna do it. He's okay. So, just to get on started, you know, infertility in itself, as with any other diagnosis or anything that, you know, people get that's not, I guess, positive. It's a struggle. It's deeply, 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 deeply personal, and it can be super, super emotional and complex and a roller coaster. It's already difficult in itself when you receive a diagnosis, you know. So opening up about it requires a lot of vulnerability. Sorry, I don't know why it's so hard for me to say vulnerability. You all know what I'm trying to say. Vulnerability. It takes a lot of openness and willingness to share deep experiences. I'm not laughing at the deep experiences. I am laughing at the fact that why is it so hard for me to... Anyway, so there can be a lot of factors that play into why it's hard for people to open up about things. You know, you could be an introvert. I obviously am not an introvert. I'm very much extroverted, but it was still hard for me to open up about infertility for a few different reasons. I really felt embarrassed. And I felt alone, and let me elaborate. So I was embarrassed because as a woman, you know, society constantly talks about how easy it is to get pregnant, and oh, you know, like I said in the other videos, oh, all it did was breathe on me and things like that. So the fact that, you know, that didn't happen for me, it didn't happen for me that way, I was a little bit embarrassed. I know it's dumb to say it in hindsight, but that's just how I felt. I didn't want to talk about it because I'm like, oh my God, people are gonna be like, not that I cared about what people thought, but I can't explain it. Or maybe, I don't know, I can't explain it, but, and I felt alone. Besides the few people in my family that I knew were dealing with infertility, I had never spoken to anybody or heard anybody talking about it. It was just not something that people talked about. And I just was like, oh my God, I'm going through this thing. I have nobody to talk to. Oh my God. It was a lot. And, you know, when I shared it with some older family members in the beginning, people put these judgments on you like, oh, well, you don't trust God. And it's like, you know, I do trust God. I'm praying about the steps that I need to take to move forward. I'm not coming at you for you to, you know, have these questions that feel like they're sort of an attack. You know, it's already enough that I'm feeling embarrassed and isolated and feeling inadequate. You know, my husband and I had discussed being parents. He was so excited about becoming a father, creating a family with me, and then here comes this diagnosis, and you're just like, you know, am I a woman enough to be your wife still? You wanted children, and I can't give that to you in the way that we, you know, the norm. And that's not to say, full disclaimer, any man or woman that is dealing with infertility, that cannot produce children the typical average way, you are still a man, you are still a woman, you are still a whole person. You are not broken. There is nothing wrong with you, but it is normal to feel that way in the beginning. But I am just here to tell you that you are perfect the way that you are. You are created the way that you are for a reason. It's very hard to hear that in the beginning, but you are you. You're not broken. Okay. But yeah, it's just a lot to talk about, to be open about, you know, and as far as the inadequacy goes in the beginning, it's sort of like, so I thought of an analogy. H2O is water, right? Everybody knows that H2O is water. Imagine you being water all your life. You like, you're water. And then all of a sudden you're told, you're missing the O in your H2O. Am I still water? Like, who am I? You sort of have like maybe not identity crisis, but your identity is distorted, right? Because how can you be water without the O? You know, tell me how I'm supposed to breathe with no air. I don't own the rights to those lyrics. But I'm not gonna get on a tangent. But overall, the decision to open up about fertility is a very deeply personal thing. And I have a special guest here today that will be helping me to teach you all the do's and the don'ts, what to say and what not to say. My special guest is going to say the things that you're not supposed to say. And then I am going to backdoor and tell you how those things could come across and what you could possibly say for those that don't know how to just be quiet and just be a strong ear and an emotional support person. But not saying that you have to be quiet. Some friends want you to actually say something back. So I'm gonna give you the tools, okay? I'm not gonna leave you hanging here, okay? So I'm gonna let my special guest introduce herself. Oh, hey everyone, I'm Maya. Hi. Okay, to start, here is what you don't want to say. Oh, it's my turn now? Oh, okay. Just relax. It'll happen. That's what happened with my cousin them. They kept thinking about it too much, and then they just stopped thinking about it, and it just happened. Instead of saying what Maya said, because that can come off as dismissive or like you're annoyed of them bringing it up. It's so easy to be sensitive when you're dealing with things. So just say something along the lines of, take care of yourself and focus on what brings you peace and joy. You're doing your best, and I'm here to support you. Okay. Another thing, what not to say. Have you tried what they call it? The acupuncture. I know they do that out north. They go to the acupuncture, and that heals everything. You won't have any of what you're talking about anymore. Or is it out west? Either way, it'll help everything. When you have responses like that, it can come off as suggesting that you know better than the person that's dealing with infertility or whatever it is that they're dealing with. And it might unintentionally make them feel like they're being judged or pressured, especially if they've already tried lots of options and not had success with those options. So it's better to say something like, I'm here to listen and support whatever decision you have regarding your journey, whether that's infertility or whatever it is, and just let me know if there's anything specific that you need from me. Okay, so Another thing that you shouldn't say, maybe it's just not in the cards for you to be a parent. You thought of that? Saying stuff like that can come off as dismissive. And it can make a person's feelings feel invalidated. It makes their experiences feel invalidated. And it makes them feel as if their struggles are being minimized or brushed aside. So instead, you can say something like, it's okay to feel frustrated. It's okay to feel disappointed. And I'm here to support you through this challenging time. So let's focus on exploring all the available options together. Okay. So another thing that you should not say. But you know what? You can always adopt. If, keep going like this, you can just adopt a baby. Ain't that good? Okay, that can come off completely dismissive, and it can make it seem like the emotions involved in the infertility journey are not relevant, and it can overlook like the grief and loss of individuals who may be experiencing the inability to have a biological child. When you are diagnosed with infertility, you don't know if it'll be a long journey that'll potentially bring a child, or if you'll ever be able to conceive. So you kind of mourn the idea of the normalcy that you thought you would have. So to say, well, you could always adopt, it can really come off insensitive. So instead of saying that, say, there are many paths to building a family. If you ever want to explore those options, I'll explore them with you. I support whatever decision you make. Do not suggest things, especially when you don't understand, especially when you have not gone through infertility or whatever the thing is. Okay, another thing that you shouldn't say, at least you have a roof over your head. Because some people out here, no roofs on their heads, living under tunnels and things. So you're doing good. Again, saying things like that can be completely dismissive, and it can make it feel like you're minimizing someone's pain by pointing out other aspects of their life and ignoring their feelings about, that was Jet. Ignoring their feelings about, whether it's infertility or whatever it is they're going through. What you can say is, I understand that dealing with infertility is incredibly challenging, because it is. And you can say, I'm here to support you, and your feelings are valid. And I'm here to listen whenever you need to talk. Okay. Another thing that you should not say, I know exactly how you feel. There was this one time in high school, I wanted to be on the homecoming court, and they just didn't even give me I didn't even have the opportunity. So, girl, I know how you feel. Listen, Linda, listen. If you have not been through the exact diagnosis, the exact thing, saying I know exactly how you feel can come off as dismissive or invalidating. I know I've been saying dismissive and invalidating the whole time, but that's how some of these things can come across. You can mean no harm at all, but saying these things can imply that you understand their experience, and it might not really be the case. Like, it can minimize their feelings and make them feel like you're not really listening to them, like you're just responding. And it's better to just acknowledge their emotions without assuming that you fully understand their experiences, because 9 times out of 10 you don't. And that's just the reality. It's nothing wrong with it. It's nothing wrong with the fact that you can't relate. Actually, it's wonderful that you can't relate. I would never wish infertility on anybody I love, anybody that I know. It's a lot. So, what you can say is something like, while I may not fully understand what you're going through, I'm here to listen and support you in any way that I can. you see that it's a reoccurring theme on how you can respond. Just being supportive and saying you're here to listen and saying, I hear you, right? Another thing that you should not say, well, you know what? It's all a part of God's plan. This is exactly how it's supposed to happen. Now this saying, oh, I heard it so much. Oh, and not to say that it's a bad thing to say. It can come across as, well, whatever happened to you was meant to happen to you. And that shit hurts. It hurts. It hurts to feel like maybe, did I do something wrong? Like, it's in God's plan, so what did I do? Did I deserve this? Like, just don't say it. Don't say it. Instead, say something like, I'm here to support you in whatever beliefs that you have. And acknowledge your feelings without imposing your beliefs on them. Another thing that you can say that you shouldn't is, good thing you still young. And all that down there, it might not be working right, but you young. So that's something. Oh man. Not only did I hear that from a doctor, like I said in previous videos, I've heard it from my peers, which really surprised me. And it can come off as invalidating and minimizing of a person's feelings and experiences about infertility. Don't say it. It may overlook the emotional toll and sense of urgency that individuals or couples feel about wanting to become parents. Infertility affects people of all ages. So to say that someone has time just because of their age doesn't really mean anything. As a matter of fact, there are some young people that try for years and years and years and years, all the way up till they're past the recommended age and all that, and never are able to conceive children. And so you saying that someone has time regarding anything it's really dismissive. What you can say is something like, I understand that time can feel like pressure, but I'm here to support you no matter what. And that shows empathy without dismissing their concerns about age and fertility. Another thing, and the last thing that you should not say, well, you know what? It could be worse. You could lost a leg or something, It could be real bad, but it's just infertility. It's just infertility. Saying something like that can imply that their struggles with infertility are insignificant compared to other aspects of their life, and suggest that they should simply just accept their circumstances and not address their desire for parenthood. It's really dismissive, as I've been repetitive in saying. But something you can say is like, I admire your strength in facing this challenge. I'm here to support you in whatever way you need. If you need a shoulder to cry on, an ear to listen to you, I'm here. So you may be watching this, and some of you may have said some of these things without realizing how insensitive it can be. And when someone's in the thick of it, their sensitivity is already heightened, especially if you're already on like hormone treatment or something to help with like infertility, or if you're already on treatment for something else. So when in doubt, just be quiet. Shut up. Like I said, be the strong, silent shoulder to lean on unless that person specifically asks for feedback. Don't give unsolicited advice. And it's okay if you didn't know in the past that you said some of these things and they came off as insensitive, because you only know what you know. I'm just trying to educate you so that in the future you're like, light bulb. Because for those dealing with infertility and with a new diagnosis or even an older diagnosis, it's not easy to respond without feeling offensive. It's easy to be angry and to respond to a person who says something to you that can seem insensitive and, you know, mess up relationships that they could potentially need, because it's a struggle. And for those of you like me who received comments that could come off in a way that don't sit right with you or seem insensitive, speak up for yourself. Because like I said, people only know what they know. People try to help, and their words can come off wrong. So if you don't tell them, hey, you know, can you just offer a prayer or an open ear, because your advice came off as hurtful, they might not know. And if you want to elaborate on how it came off as hurtful, like you saying that made it feel like my feelings aren't validated or things like that, try to explain to them, because they don't always understand. Like, they don't understand what we're going through. They can empathize and think that they understand, but they really, really don't. So expressing to them that it hurt your feelings can be helpul. That's all I have for you all today. I do have a couple of more videos that I want to do regarding the infertility series before I start the IVF and NICU and every other series. But I thank you so much for continuing with me for this long. I hope to see you in our next video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, people. Come on, comment. I want to talk to you guys. But until next time, bye, friends.